Alright guys, so in this section we're gonna install a collector on a Linux server. It's gonna be a Ubuntu server. So the way we're gonna do it, we're gonna use the wizard, okay? You could directly click here under setup, or you could just add a collector. And what we're gonna do is okay, we could do it directly from here. You could specify like what type of collector you want to install. So for us it's Debian, and what to do, it download it for you, and you have to follow like the instruction. And I prefer using this the wizard is much easier, right? So get started. Here you want to specify what you want to use it for. I'm specifying all other source. I want to use it as a syslog, as a new collector, so specify Linux. All you have to do is just copy this file, and that's all you have to do, honestly. Well, you have to configure it, but like just the installation process is much easier. And this is just want to show you, like, if you want to install it manually, okay? Which I don't know why you want to do that to yourself, but like still. Okay, so first you make it as an executable, then you have to run the token, and like with this command, so you have to create a token, or you could use it using the access key and the access key, the one that we showed you in the first video, how you could generate those. You run it. You could add also a proxy settings for it if the collector needs to go through a proxy, and that's it basically. The steps are pretty straightforward how to do it this way, but like really, I don't know why you need to do that to yourself. Okay, so just sending a web get and you're all done, and it's actually doing the same thing if you see here. So we're changing then the bash to an executable. Here we're specifying that we want to run the bash command in sudo, and then here we're giving the token that's auto-generated by the wizard, okay? Anyway, so here it tells you click next after you're done. You want to specify the source category of this collector, so what I'm gonna do is Linux syslog, and select the type. It's gonna get UDP port 1514. You just do next. So this takes a little bit of time just to get the collector synchronized. So guys, while we're waiting for the transferring of data to finish, it seems so for the collector to be fully synchronized with SumoLogic UI. So what I do usually, I'm gonna just show you the steps that I troubleshoot in case I'm having any issues, alright? So the first thing what I'll do, I'll check if the collector is listening on the correct port with the syslog. So here you could see it's listening on 1514. Then what I'll do, I actually go to the SumoLogic directory. So it is, you need to be in sudo to be able to access it. So since this is Ubuntu, it's located here. Alright, so here you could see a lot of things. The first thing that I do, I just do run collector.status. Alright, just to see if the status is up and working. So you see started, you can see the UID, and I'll also check the CTL, sorry. Alright, so I could see it's running. Alright, and you get all that information. You could also stop it with .collector stop and start it, just in case you're changing any of the configuration. The configuration are located under configuration, and here you have the wrapper. Alright, so most of the time you don't need to change anything here. You might to do some changes if you want to listen to a particular interface in place of another, in place of your main interface. Or I would recommend most of the time just if you open a support case, they tell you to update something here to do it. If not, just keep everything as default. The second thing I would do is actually check the firewall rules. Alright, so if the firewall have the proper port open, so in case I have it here inactive, but like in case you have it active, you just specify here what you need to do is just allow the port, actually it's 1415 for my case, UDP, okay, but in my case I don't have it, I have it inactive, so the port should be available. What else will I do? I think those are basically the steps that I follow. Alright, oh, I run also a TCP dump just to check that the traffic is, let me see, just it's taking longer than I expected. But also what I do is I run a TCP dump, and what I'll do is UDP port 1514 just so it's not very noisy, and then I have my Python script here. What is it? Alright, and this is my Python script. I just send the logs. Just a very bit. Sorry. Just very basic Python script that's sending traffic to, and this is the wrong server, sorry, 16. Okay, 16 or 17. Okay, 17. So, and as you could see, like traffic is reaching, the UDP is reaching to the server, alright? But this is just to verify that there's nothing between you and the server are blocked. If you have the firewall configured, TCP is actually captures before the Ubuntu firewall, okay? Just to be aware. So traffic reaching doesn't mean that the port is open, okay? Traffic is reaching. Let's see if actually it is working. Let's see here. See what logs we got, and as you could see, we have received the logs from the Python script that we created, so it is working, it is up and running. Alright guys, sorry this was a long video. Thanks for joining, and I'm gonna also create like a blog that's gonna explain all that later. Thanks for joining. Please like and subscribe, and if you wanna get like notified from the upcoming videos, also click the notification button. Alright.